This week, I'll be studying with the students in catechism classes, among other things, regarding the great patriarch Abraham. Abraham was the first of three great personages of the Old Testament. In fact, you'd have a pretty good sketch of the Old Testament if you keep these three in mind. There was Abraham. He was the father of the Jewish people, the father of the Savior, and also the father of all believers. Then there was Moses, the great rescuer of God's people and also the lawgiver. And then there was David, the great king of God's people and a rescuer in his own right. Now, getting back to Abraham, God directed Abraham to move from his hometown, Ur of the Chaldeans. He moved up to Haran, and later down to the land of Canaan, which would become Israel. It was a 1,000-mile trip. As he did so, God promised to Abraham three things. God said that you will become a great nation, like the stars of the sky. God said you'll receive the land of Canaan as your inheritance. And God also said in Genesis chapter 12, verse 3, all nations on earth will be blessed because of you, Abraham. Now, there's only one way that could happen, that all nations would be blessed through Abraham. Abraham was going to be the ancestor of the Savior. See, after the debacle of the flood and the Tower of Babel, God had demonstrated he needed to pick one man, one family, one nation to be protectors for his line of the Savior. Abraham was that man. That means that as many years ago, before Jesus Christ, as we live after Jesus Christ, God was thinking of you. 4,000 years ago, he was thinking of you and preparing for Abraham to be the father of your Savior and making Abraham to be the prototype of all believers. Now, one last thing. I mentioned to you there are three towering personages of the Old Testament. In reality, you could say there's just one. And that, of course, is our Savior Jesus. All of those years, he was intent on coming to be your Savior. Have yourself a great week in his name.